Hi, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Thankful Thursday. Hi, everybody. Oh, okay. That was kind of stiff. All right. Much better. Happy Thursday, everyone. Happy Thursday. Hey, Miss Mazzala, how are you? Did you get my email? As I responded to your email. Hi, everyone. Hello, TikTok family. Come on in. Somebody's here. Hi, everybody. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. Is that real somewhere? Somewhere it's 5 p.m. too. Well, come on in, everyone. Say hello when you come in. If you're just joining us for the first time, okay, perfect. Let us know and let us know where you're joining in from. Good evening, everybody. Hello, Miss Abena. How are you? Hello, hello. How was your day? How was your day? I always love your heart emojis. Warms my heart. No pun intended. How was your day? How was your day? Hello, Mr. Johnson. How are you doing? Come on in, say hello. Come on in, say hello. Come on in, say hello. Come on. I don't think I saw Financial on Tuesday. She probably is working or had a prayer or something. Hi, TikTok family. Let's wait in. So we're doing questions tonight. We're doing questions tonight. Tonight is a night of questions. So you can go ahead and start putting your questions in the comment section. Let me try to do something here. Let's see if I can pull this up a little bit more. Okay. Hello, Miss in the Sanctuary. Okay, there we go. I think that's better. Sorry, Facebook and YouTube, because that probably blocks your view. I still love. Welcome in. Yummy's baby, welcome in. Put your comments. So if you're just joining us for the first time, we come on live Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9:30 p.m. Hello, Miss in the Sanctuary. 9:30 as far as I'm concerned. Thank you. 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Any other time zone? I don't know. So Tuesdays, Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Talking about all things immigration, updates on immigration policies, sharing, information about immigration, answering questions, all of that. You guys are the best. So sometimes we do just questions for the night. So today is one of those nights where we're just doing questions. And the way it works is if you've got a question, put it in the comment section, not in the question box. Put it in the comment section. Please do not repeat your questions. If questions are repeated, it's going to be skipped and you won't get an answer to your question. So that's how it works. So if you've got a question, please do not repeat it. We're just starting, so put it there. Wendy, thank you. Put it in the comment section, and I'll go through everywhere. So it's Testimony Thursday. Come share your positive stories, encourage others. Drop it in the comment section to encourage those on this journey. And that is true. And Mr. Bennett says, please do not repeat your questions. It's a lot easier, and it just goes very, very smooth. Much smoother, I should say, when questions are not repeated. It's a lot. It just is. It makes a big difference. So let's talk immigration, people. Come on in. Come on in. Say hello. Say hello. Come on in. It's been an amazing testimony field day. It's just been, So today, 10 years ago today, I was sworn in as an American citizen, September 19, 2014. after being in the United States for 12 years at that point. So I came into the States in 2002. Sworn in as a citizen on September 19, 2014. Today is exactly a decade of being a citizen. I had a moment of reflection, and for the most part today, but waking up, just looking back, not just in 10 years, but in 22 years of living here. It's been God's grace all along. I tell you, it's Melody Professor, from discouraging moments and working through this immigration thing, and just like, I don't know, to just God showing up and showing out. And I remember vividly September 19, 2014. Cannot forget. Like, I was bawling, like the whole ceremony. I could not keep the tears. I can never forget in New Orleans. I could not keep the tears back. It was just, there was so many emotions there, from thinking about being denied a lot of benefits because I didn't have Social Security number. I couldn't work. To just that and holding that flag. It's a moment you just never forget. You never forget. And it's been a decade, and time goes by. And so you don't go through that. You don't walk through that kind of journey in your personal life and not be able to, you don't have any choice. But when you get into that, and God gives you the grace to have a career in that same experience, it is more of a passion. It becomes a passion even if you don't want it to be, because you get it. You get what it feels like. You get what it is about. You get, all the emotions that you can possibly feel. I know, the rejection and everything. So, it is just giving all the glory back to God. And as if that was not enough, I had 3 of my clients had amazing testimonies today. One is Miss A. We were hoping, she's been in immigration court for the past 9 years, since 2019. She came to my firm 2 months ago. We did a FOIA request because she has quite a history, did a FOIA request. And I think just about a week and a half to the court date today, I was like, this is the strategy we have. We've got to put this in motion. This is what we got to do. We got to do this. We got to A, B, C, and before the 19th. And here we are. Thank you for joining from Indiana. And the goal was, God willing, to have her case terminated in court. And as God would have it, even though it was kind of a rough a little bit, it was terminated from court. Let me put this on do not disturb. Give me 1 second. The case was terminated in court. Hold on 1 second, people. I just want to make sure. I'm sorry. Just let me know. I hope you didn't lose me on Instagram. I'm going to get to you. So, have you sent me the request? So, so her case was terminated in court, and when I tell you, Lord, it's like, what? So that was Miss A, and she's been in court. Her case has been pending since 2019, 5 years, 2019, and she was at the cross, like, what am I going to do? And so I'm just grateful that God gave me that, the knowledge to be able to work things around and put things together, where the judge saw that there was no point moving forward with this case in court, and had to terminate her case. And Mr. A, I'm going to tell more about his own story tomorrow, but he came to our firm, I think it was back in March or April. His VAWA case had been since 2021. And this is not talking about another attorney, but he just could not have access to his attorney. He was not getting a response. He saw me on Instagram. He took a leap of faith. We met, reviewed his file, did a FOIA request, and was, okay, this is where I'm going to take over your case. This is what I'm going to do. And we were able to, he had a very peculiar situation that his attorney just didn't pay attention to. And based on that, we're able to use that to expedite his VAWA case. And then that was approved. Expedited request was approved. Vouchers was approved. Then it was the 485. And the 485, we've been going back and forth. But 2 weeks ago, I said, you know what? I'm just going to take a leap of faith. I'm going to get on the phone. I don't care how long it takes me. I was on the phone with that representative for almost 30 minutes. And when I tell you, God gave me somebody who was going to listen and be patient and took all the details down. Anyway, that was less than 2 weeks ago. Fast forward today, his green card is approved today. It is going to be a day of testimony. And then my by force adopted brother from another mother. Hello, Missy B. My by force adopted brother from another mother is going to come on. Mr. Maggi. He already said that his interview was going to be coming up. We didn't say what day it was, but it was actually today. And when I tell you, y'all, that that was nothing but short of a miracle. That in 10 years of practicing immigration law, that probably was the shortest interview I've ever had. I've had really great interviews. But when I tell you, he's probably going to say, so anyway, we'll get to him. But it's been a day of testimonies, and I pray that God is going to meet each and every one at a point of our need and give us our own unique testimonies, because as we share and rejoice with others, we would have people to rejoice with us when it's our turn. This is Attorney Abisola Adebola Olaleye. I'm an immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. It doesn't matter what state you live in, we will be happy to represent you. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube at Olaleye Immigration, 334-341-4475. That is our contact information. Mr. Maggi, what do you want to do? What did you decide that you want to do? Are you joining in? Are you just calling in? What do you want to do? It's up to you. So if we can help you with your immigration case, our contact information is 334-341-4475. You can visit our website. Thank you, Mr. Sanctuary, at olaleyelawfirm.com. In all of this, the biggest part of it is, in all of this, there's nothing that is credited to me. God uses people. And, like I always say, are you serious? Wow. Oh, wow. Well, everyone was waiting for you. You want to call in then? In all of this, I always say that the day I think it's any power of my own that I have, then that's the day, that's the day you think you know everything. But yeah. Okay, that's fine. But, just to summarize, because he's still driving back. His interview was less than 20 minutes. It was even 20 minutes. It was, I'm telling you, it was. But one of the things that, I think before I got on or after I got off, the officer told him was, when I tell you, and Mr. Maggi will confirm, they did not ask anything about good faith marriage. I've never seen no question about good faith marriage. Remember last week he was still saying and asking people to pray with him. Not a single, and we prayed together. I always ask if I can pray with you when we prepare, and we're agreed in faith. But his wife was not asked a single question. You didn't even hear her voice throughout. Not one question, not one single good faith question. And the officer told him that his case was well put together. Right? His case was well put together, and you really didn't have to ask him any question. But we did have a waiver for something that he needed to have a waiver for that was filed. He didn't do anything wrong. So don't think it was no misrepresentation, anything fraudulent. No, it was a waiver for something legal. And it was also discretionary. And that was the only drawback that we thought, okay, was going to delay us. But when I tell you that in 10 years, almost 10 years, because I started after I was admitted to immigration, the Alabama bar. In almost 10 years of doing this work, this is the first time ever that I've had an interviewing officer. When I tell you that when God steps into your matter, there's nothing anyone can do. First time I have an interviewing officer personally call me back after an interview. He said he was going to do it, but I tell you something. Personally call me back. Not even, I mean, we started interview at 11:03. We were done before 11:20. And call you back and tell you, I checked my supervisor on this particular thing that we hung up on. And, I'm just going to go ahead and approve the case. I just wanted to call you back and let you know that that's what I'm going to go ahead to do. Y'all, y'all should hear me when you would have thought they were giving me like a whole, I don't know, called you back and say, I'm going to approve your client's case. How much better can God give you, celebrate with you your 10th year anniversary as a citizen? And so when I texted him, and I don't think it was even 10 minutes after he left the field office before I texted him like, your new card is being produced. So if God is still on the throne, God is still on the throne, and what we thought was going to be a hang up was actually, when God gives you the anointing of ease, and it gives you the knowledge to be able to do what you do. It would be great if all the cases could go that way, but we will celebrate with you, Mr. Maggi. We celebrate with you, Mr. A, because Mr. A's story will come tomorrow, and Miss A as well, getting up out of immigration court, all happening today. God has been faithful. God remains faithful. And I pray that he will meet each and every one of us, that those battles and our secret desires that we all put before the altar of grace, that he would do for us. So, Mr. Maggi, we celebrate with you. We congratulate you. We pray that this is the beginning of many, many blessings and abundance. And just like we agreed beginning of this month, it's the month of accelerated blessings. If that was not an accelerated interview, I don't know what that was. And uncommon favors. When you speak it into existence and put it before the altar of grace, that's what more can we ask for? Okay, let's get to questions. Let me start on Facebook. So, and everyone is saying congratulations, Mr. Maggi, on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok. And Mr. A, I don't know if Mr. A is here. Hello, Mr. Denny, how are you? Okay, so hello, Mr. Abu, what's going on? Good evening, Mr. Candy. Questions 9. Disclaimer. Just general information, nothing specific to anyone's case. No, that's not me. I'm just giving information that use at your own risk. just saying. But so please, Bart, I try to help as much as possible, but it's not. There was that lawyer that said no, not that way. But anyway, okay. I had my interview yesterday. The interviewer said he would get with the RCC and supervisor to see what to do. I had annoyed before based on divorce decree and remarried and refiled. So what's your question? I'm doing very well, Arlene. Thank you for asking. I was able to see my I-94 from USCIS website 2 years ago, but now that would have been, that's not USCIS website, that would be DOS website. Enter the same permit and it's showing no record on traveler. What can I do? I need it urgently. Maybe you put in a different passport number. I can't tell you what to do, or you may do a FOIA request to get it. But other than that, why didn't you save it then? Can I use advanced parole to travel to my country? I hope there would not be anything about traveling and you're not my client. I don't ever recommend that. And thank you for joining everybody. So please subscribe to YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, share, follow on YouTube. All platforms is at Olale Immigration. Anything about traveling, you're going to have to speak to your lawyer about that. Let's see. VAL was approved. I-45 was sent to my local USCIS office. How can I expedite that? It depends on how you. In this case that I was talking about, we had very specific reasons why we called to expedite, and so that's probably what you're going to have to do. So call and speak with someone, and we would really appreciate if you will share with your friends and family. And you just never know who's going to benefit from the information. All right. let's see. Okay. Please do not repeat questions so we can make it a very smooth process. Okay. Let's see. Can one apply for parole in place while going through a divorce? It's the main thing is as long as, and I'm assuming you mean this new Biden thing, as long as you had a valid marriage as of June 17, 2024, anything that happens after that, I don't think is going to be considered because that's not what the requirement is. Now, your best option is to consult with an attorney so you can fully evaluate your specific facts. But generally, I would not think it would be a problem. But once again, consult with a lawyer to be sure. What if you're scheduled to start working a month before your fiance's interview? Would they get denied? What does that have to do with them working? I'm not sure I understand your question. Do you take cases that have been denied due to misrepresentation? I do, but I reserve the right to refuse representation. It just depends. But the first step you have to take with me is to schedule a paid consultation. So you can go on our website, olalayalawfirm.com, or send us a text 334-341-4475, and then schedule one, and then that's the first step you have to take anyway. Can someone who filed for VAW marry to a U.S. citizen? Can someone who filed for VAW marry to a U.S. citizen? I'm not sure I understand your question, but if you're asking if you can get married to a U.S. citizen while you have a VAW case pending, if that's what you're asking, the answer to that question is your VAW case is going to be automatically denied if you get remarried. Okay, if I knew that, so okay, so I guess that's the rest of your question. Can someone who filed VAW married? Your question is confusing. Can someone who filed VAW married to U.S. citizens expedite their work permit? Are you asking about getting married to a U.S. citizen? You're asking about expediting your work permit. Thank you, Alexander. What discouraged me the most on my immigration journey? We don't have enough time. We don't have enough time. I think one of the things I remember vividly, this was when I was still in Massachusetts, going to the Social Security office, thinking I could get a Social Security card because they should have had my information. And that happened twice, and I was rejected. And I was told that no, you don't qualify. That's one I remember because on the third time, I had to not get, and that was when I now finally had someone file an H-1B petition for me, and then he had to go with me. But then the person now became, he crossed the line. Let's put it that way. And because he crossed the line, and I needed to start working, and he wrote to USCIS to revoke the visa. But as God would have it, my change of status application got there on the same day, and it came down to which one was delivered first. When I tell you that when God steps in your matter, there's nothing anybody can do. It came down to, and they sent me an RFE, and that's how I knew. And so I had to respond to that argument that my change of status application got there before the revocation request. And so, but that's another thing. So it was quite a bit, but and then I think another thing was finding out that I had to leave a big city to go to, because I was still married then. We had to go to a small rural health area in a town of 5,000 people. It was like, oh Lord Jesus, they didn't even have a mall. So, but I think the Social Security thing was because it was quite embarrassing, right? When you have everybody there being able to apply, and then you're told you don't qualify. But I count all of that all joy now. My Olga, thank you. Do people actually get denied for VAW, or they approve whatever you make up? Okay. Well, anyway, um, Mr. Junker, I'm doing good. Thank you. Hello, Miss Delia. How are you? Thank you for sharing. Ketley, thank you. Who is this person? I think I'm just going to, is all vow approved now? Can I just make up and get approved whatever I make up? This is not your forum. I'm sorry. All right. I think this was just being funny. I went for my marriage-based interview today, but I was told they have to reschedule. Why would they have to reschedule? They didn't have your file. Oh well. Okay. Hopefully they, it's better. Oh, what do you? Okay. Let's see. Okay, so you're asking, when you file for val, can you expedite the work permit? If you've got evidence to show that you have severe financial hardship, or your employer is going to have severe financial hardship, or some humanitarian grounds that you need your financial support. Yeah. But then again, keep in mind that depends on what category you found. So make sure you file the right category to start with, which is based on you filing the green card application, you filed a C9 category work permit, because that's what you can get while the case is pending. And if you have enough evidence to facts to support an expedited request, then you can do that. How many times can I travel out of US with my AP document? As long as there's no restriction on it and it's not a one-time thing and it's still valid, generally, not saying you, generally, there is no restriction as long as you don't have a restricted, because for instance, someone who has DACA is usually for a one-time thing. So, and as long as it's still valid, which now they're issuing, advanced paroles for 5 years, generally, then that person can use it as many times as possible. It's been 7 months now since I submitted my form through marriage base, but I didn't receive EAD. Okay, so what's your question, Brian? It has to do with the I-134, because I know I need to send my W-2 and stuff. I have not worked since. Then you can get a joint sponsor to get someone else to also, if you have not worked since, they can put an explanation why you haven't worked, and then find someone to complete an I-134 affidavit of support as a co-sponsor for your fiance. Husband got his 2-year green card, joined the army, got citizenship, divorced, wants to marry and file again. Huh? Okay. Whose husband? Your husband got his 2-year green card and he divorced you? And you're asking questions. I'm confused. Let me make sure I read it. So husband got his husband. So husband is your husband. Got his 2-year green card, joined the army, got citizenship, divorced, and wants to marry and file again. Can he marry right after the divorce, or he has to wait? Your husband, you're asking question on behalf of your husband that divorced you? Help me out. I'm trying to understand what's going on. I'm just trying to understand. Is it normal not to receive EAD after submitting my form through marriage base for 7 months? There's nothing abnormal with USCIS. So the first place you need to go, if you're thinking your case is taking too long, go on uscis.gov/processing times. Put in your type of application, when you filed it, and it will tell you whether or not your case is processing normally. So if your case is processing normally, then that's what it is. It's just, someone gets there. If USCIS is taking about 8 months to process approximately 30% of the case type, and somebody gets their work permit in 2 months, it doesn't mean that it changes the 8 months. It just means that somebody got theirs in 2 months. That's all it means. And that somebody who got that in 2 months may fall within the 20% that there's no set processing time for. So yeah. Can I correct household size on I-864-RFE after submitting? Well, if you've already submitted the response, I'm not really sure how you want to correct that. But if you want, I mean, you can try uploading documents to your unsolicited evidence, or if you have an attorney, talk to your attorney about that. What of the person that is on asylum seeker cannot apply for green card when you've been granted asylum? My question is, does a request for evidence put my case in the back burner? That I can answer that question because I don't know about your case or what will be a request for evidence. The one thing I'll tell you is if they send you a request for evidence, they're not going to resume working in your case until the response is received. Okay, let's see. He wants to remarry another person who wasn't his wife who had petitioned. So he wants to remarry you. So that was your husband, and now he has the citizenship, and you guys are back together. And you're wondering how long does he have to wait before he gets remarried? Okay, it would depend on what the law is in your state. Some states have a waiting period after divorce. Some states do not have. So that will be a question for a family law attorney in your state. Okay. USC has asked me for more evidence, which I provided, but since then my case seems slower. It doesn't necessarily mean your case is slower. If it's still within normal processing time, then it's just processing as normal. If I fail the write-in test, what should I do next? You get a second chance to do the test. I haven't received a prima facie after 14 months. Should I be worried? Not like you should be worried, but if you have a lawyer, ask them to email the Vermont Service Center. I actually have one case, knock on wood, I don't want to have more than one. That's the very first time that's happened to me, that I've not received a prima facie in now, I think it's now 8 months. So guess what I've been doing? Emailing them, because they said they're tired of my emails. Well, if you're tired of my emails, why don't you just give me what I'm asking for? So I still emailed them about the same thing yesterday. So that will be the 4th email in 3 months. They just have to respond. I'm probably sure they will come back and tell me it is not necessary. Send us multiple requests. And darn it, give me what I'm requesting for. That's all. So if you don't have an attorney, call the contact number, toll-free number, and let them know to put in a request for you. Okay, let's see. Okay. What's the average time frame for marriage phase? Anything about processing time, go on USCIS.gov for processing time. It will tell you how long it's taking. Okay, all right, so oh, Mr. Mario, good to see you. You really think I'm going to answer your question about after what you did today? Not going to happen. Okay. All right, let's see. Okay. Joining in for the first time. Mr. Ben, are you trying to be funny? Welcome to the most positive immigration space on social media platforms, safe space to celebrate. No judgment here. Judgment-free zone. It's a celebration zone. No judgment. Ask whatever questions. Say whatever is on your mind. Let people pray with you. Where 2 or 3 are gathered in His name, there in their midst He is. There is power in agreement. There's power in coming together and agreeing in faith. So yes. Like, if we're having an interview, I always tell my clients that God will go before you. He will be with you. He will give you the option to speak the right words to say. And don't forget my voice in your head saying, don't volunteer information. Only answer the questions you're asked. If not, I will give you the death stare. So But that, I'm a true believer in we can pray for as long as we want, but it's all in God's hands. Thank you, Miss Sabina. Hello, Miss Daniel. How are you? Hello, Ninachi. How are you? Very gorgeous lady. Look at you changing lives in half the time. Is a God of acceleration. He would give you double for your trouble, double blessings. You will forget the days that it looked like you were long suffering. I can never forget the day I was still a full-time stay-at-home mom then. I was in the living room in our former marital residence. My kids were in school. I sat on the floor in the living room, and I'll just, I can't forget. I had like that, is it like squatting or whatever, how you squat your legs in and just look, and that just wasn't prayer. Like, this is what I want to do. And I think I remember was when I had just finished putting together my sister-in-law's fiance visa petition for my brother. And it was the way I was so much involved in it. And keep in mind, I had worked in an immigration law firm back in Boston. And so that was my first taste of, wow, this is life changing. And then having to now go through it myself and having to learn a whole lot. I mean, I changed from one visa to another, like, Lord have mercy. Got on a J2 visa where I had to get a J1 waiver. Listen, if to know my story is to know what my passion is the way it is. And to know my story is to understand why, if a case doesn't get approved or what, because it happens. It just almost that I can't function. A lot of my colleagues don't understand why I get that way. Like, you didn't promise an outcome. I didn't know. My contract says that, but it doesn't mean I don't feel, because I know. And I sat and I told her, like, this is what I want to do. I don't know how you're going to do it, because obviously I hadn't gone back to law school then. I wasn't licensed in any state. I just knew that was what I was going to do. And I was in the pantry of our former home then, and I heard it loud and clear. I literally opened the pantry. I was going to make food for my kids, and it was like, go back to law school. And I was so resistant. I was like, why in God's name in my 30s, having 2 kids, will I take on the burden of having to go back to law school so I can take a freaking bar exam? It was loud and clear. Go back to law school. That was in 2011. Can't forget, in the kitchen. 13 years later, am I not glad that I listened and went back to law school? It was not easy. I went to, traveled one way to law school from my house to Mississippi College. One way was 1.5 hours. So I was on the road for 3 hours, 3 days a week, and 2 kids that I had to drop in daycare, still had to feed. If I could do it, please understand it. You're not too old. Don't let anybody convince you like, oh, you should be affected by school to be. No, don't listen. I was one of the oldest in my law school class, but who gives a rap? So what? So what? But guess what? Today, I thank God at 46, I can look back and say it has been but for the accelerated blessing of Jehovah. It's never too late. Don't let nobody talk you out of your destiny. So, yes. We celebrate with you, Mr. Maji. Mr. Maji says, today marks my beginning in 10 years for eternity. Olale. Look at God. We're going to be remembering September 19 now. Right? Because you're going to have it on your card and always like, oh, okay. Look at God. Mr. Bennett says, congratulations to all the recipients and also to Scylla and the whole team at another law firm. I'm telling you, I have to give my staff a huge bonus this year, because this year we've been, especially Isaiah. Carla, everybody does great, Attorney Gosha, but Isaiah is that's my rockstar paralegal. Like, that guy, I'm telling you. So I hope he's listening, because he watches sometimes. Let's see. Mr. Bennett says, Mr. Magic, I got my dancing shoes on. I remember looking at that. Yeah, he was nervous, and I mean, yeah, rightfully so. I am happy to know you acknowledge God is involved in all you do. Yes, absolutely. Each day, every step, nothing hopeless and helpless without my maker. Say it loud and clear. Not ashamed of it. As a song I listen to on K-Love station, my car is always on that. And if I'm not listening to my Afrobeats, I can't remember who's but it goes up and like, I sought the Lord, he heard and he answered. I sought the Lord, he heard and he answered. Powerful words. But the thing is, he does things at his own time. We just have to pray that he gives us that the spirit of patience, the spirit of calm to wait for our own time, right? I sought the Lord, he heard and he answered. No questions, yeah. Okay, let's see. Can a beneficiary withdraw an I-130 petition? No, the petitioner has to be the one to withdraw an I-130 petition because it's their petition. Been working on the table job since I came to the U.S. My son is about to petition for me. Do I fill the employment part of the form? I can see the rest of it. I'm sure you're asking that says, have you worked without authorization? Absolutely, yes. Number one, you don't want, even if you're working on the table, if you're getting cash, you just never know what USCIS knows, especially if you have an ITIN number, your tax ID number. That's number one. Number two, as an immediate relative, you're not working without authorization does not harm your case in any way. Had an interview today. We were truthful. If we work without authorization, yes. It doesn't change. An immediate relative is exempt from on the permanent bar of the bar of unauthorized work. So absolutely, you have to. If you were my client, we will have to. Hello, Miss Fumbi, how are you? Some people are so smart. Can you ask a lawyer something? You said it, not me. I think that person was just trying to be funny. Hello, Miss Timiraya, how are you? I don't think that person watched your reel yesterday about arrangement. I think we should send it to them. Oh Lord. People are funny. Listen. Will a U.S. citizen filing the I-45 be faster than if you were a green card holder? I think you've asked me that question, Ms. Demiraya, but it depends on what it is. It depends on what kind of petition. If you're talking on, for instance, if you're talking about a VAR case, the VAR petition is going to be approved when it's going to be approved. Whether or not, and then when it comes to the I-485, that's where the difference is, because a green card holder spouse, a spouse of a green card holder has to wait for priority dates and has to wait for visa numbers. A U.S. citizen spouse doesn't have to wait for visa numbers. And the same applies even if it's a regular case. Yeah, so it just really depends. A U.S. citizen a U.S. citizen doesn't file for I-485. The intended immigrant files. But I guess what you're asking is the spouse is if you're a spouse of a U.S. citizen or green card holder doesn't make a difference. The main difference is just that spouses of U.S. citizens don't have to wait for priority dates to become current or visa numbers or anything like that. Can I file for my parents as a green card holder in the Army? No, it doesn't matter that you're in the Army. You have to be a citizen to file for parents. Who can withdraw the I-130? I just answered the question. That's why it's called the petition. The petitioner, not the beneficiary. Thank you. Only Gold Realtor. Filing for an F1 status. I'm not sure I understand what you're not adding, Ms. Samurai. Let's see. Hello, Epic Movements. How are you? If I get married to a U.S. citizen, when can I start applying for my green card? There's no set time after that. Just making sure that you have enough bona fide evidence. That's what needs to happen. And that's what I go through. For instance, even in Mr. Magi's case, I remember when we had a consultation. And I try to be very thorough in my consultation, because if I don't think we have enough to start a case, I'll tell you, give it time. I'll tell you, this is what I needed to, let's give it this duration of time. This is what I needed to get. And this is what, So I love to tell a story with packaging. Anyone that I represent will tell you that. Obviously, you can't please everybody, so there will be someone like they don't agree, and that's fine. To each their own. But everyone, I mean, it's not the first time I'm hearing an immigration officer telling my client that your counsel did an excellent job. That's not the first time. It's not bragging. I'm bragging on God's grace and favor and my OCD-ish ways, because I drive people crazy. And Isaiah, that is my, we work hand in hand when it comes to assembly. When I tell you that nothing leaves my firm without me seeing it last, because I have to make sure that the labeling is right. We've told you a story, it makes sense. And so that, because I know what I want to achieve with your evidence, I will start with, this is what I needed to get me. If you have quite good evidence, even before you get married, that's something I can work with. So I'm not waiting for what you have to get insurance and other after marriage. So there's no set time to start to file. It just depends on how much bona fide evidence you have already. My question is, no work permit since March till now. It's 6 months. I'm sure it's still within the more person time. He can call to ask to expedite. Yeah. Would love to hear more of your story. Listen, it is a story, but it is a story of testimonies. It's a story of testimonies. My mom sent me the most beautiful text today. She was like, my mother's prayers. I don't joke with my mother's prayers, but it was just a really beautiful text. And I think she said it's amazing how, you stayed for 12 years before becoming, because my younger siblings, my mom, they became citizens. They came in with immigrant visas anyway. So they've been citizens for 17 years or thereabouts. So, but my mom knows my journey. But I thank my mom too, because that journey would not have started without her. But it's quite a story. It's quite a story, but I thank God. You're welcome, Miss Nelechi. Are you serious, Miss Alex? The 19th as well? See, 2 months has gone by since you got your green card. It's been 2 months? For real? 2 months. I cannot. Time flies. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, then I gotta embrace number 19. I'm telling you. Are you serious? I didn't even know. I'm gonna check it real quick. Like 2 months has gone by. You already know. I can pull up anything on my computer. You don't even know. I'm a walking law firm. Like, just ask me anybody's case. I can tell you what the status is on their case. And when I tell you I got hundreds, even over 1,000 clients, but everyone's case is important. Let me see. I'll pull it up real quick. Give me 1 second, people. My direct case, yeah. Where is alphabetically? Wait, there it is. There it is. I'm sure she's like, you have a copy of it? I do. It is. It is. July 19. July 19, 2024. It sure is. Exactly 2 months. I didn't even remember that. But yeah, I have it right here on my computer. Because why not? I'm sure she's not surprised. Like, of course you do. Okay. I claim my green card for the 19th of next. Amen. From your mouth to God's ears. Amen. I didn't even know it's been 2 months already. It's been 2 months I spoke to your parents. Oh wow. Oh, the prayers that Miss Anna's parents even give. I'm telling them, that's all I need. I always look forward to the prayers. Don't buy me nothing. Not now. If you send me lick finger food, I'll take it. I'm just saying, but just pray for me. It's a highly pressurized job. My mind is always racing. I'm telling you, that's why sometimes I shut down. I just go and just shut it down so I can just not kill myself, overwork myself. USC has made an error in my mom's request for evidence. They are mistaking her for my spouse. Okay, what's your question? What if a 65 years old fails to write in for the N400? Okay, so what's the question? What if you want to file N400, but you have been filing your taxes as a single and head of household? What is your question? Please ask questions. Creating an account on the new schedule portal, but can't access the portal. Is there I can't answer that question. That's a question for Department of State. Can a U.S. citizen adopt their siblings? They are under 5 years. You can, but you have to go through either the family adoption petition process, which requires 2 years of fiscal and legal custody, or go through orphan petition. So talk to a lawyer and see what is going to be the best option for you. Please do not repeat questions. So a 65-year-old failing the test, now that I've seen that you put your question more than once, I won't even answer it. Why is it that citizens filing for the siblings takes more than 14 years? The way Congress is, that category has the least amount of visa allocated for each month. That's the main reason, and it's so, and that's why it's the last preference category. The I won't say it's not the most, the one not given is the least priority, and it's got the least amount of visa numbers each year. Yeah. My friend submitted his I-45 let's go back here. In February 2024, got his green card today. Congratulations to your friend. Can someone with withholding or removal apply for parole to travel? Generally, no. Shailene 12 says, thanks for the words of encouragement. Much needed for me at this time. I'm glad. I'm glad. So, okay. Can I break my lease after my vow got approved to relocate to another state? I can tell you to break your lease. That would be telling you to to break the law. But can you relocate to another state even before your vow got approved? You can. But as far as breaking your lease, that's you and your landlord. Even after I said don't repeat questions. Why? But why? Okay. Is vow work permit renewal free? The C9 category is free. The C31, I'm not too sure about that. I don't want to. The first one is usually automatically issued to you, but the renewal, I would tell you that I would have to check that out myself. But you can check it on USCIS website. Okay. Is it going to affect my naturalization process when filing single in my taxes when legally married? So if you claim a wrong filing status in your taxes just because you want to save money and get more refund and all that, that may have an impact on the good moral character requirement in naturalization, unless you can actually prove that you were not, you were literally head of household, like, considered head of household, even if you're legally married. Sometimes you can be considered head of household even if married. There's some requirements that have to be met. But if you're actually in marriage together, you guys were living together every day and nothing, and you just did that so you can get more refund, that could be a problem. Generally, I'm not saying, I'm just telling you that could be a problem. Okay. All right, let's see. Adeoye, good evening. Thank God my I-45 was approved. Congratulations. Have we met before? I don't know. Adeoye, let me know. Have we met before? Because you put it as we may have had a I don't know. Hello, Miss Giwa. How are you? Where have you been? We've missed you as well. Well, congratulations, Adele. We celebrate with you as well. Okay. How do you know if Warren's attorney filed a C9 category? Your receipt notice. Your receipt notice will tell you the category that was filed. So go look at your receipt, look at your receipt notice. It will tell you whether it's a C09, C9, or C31. If it's a C or 9, then you just wait and it will be, you'll get it. If it's a C31, then it means you just been waiting 7 months for nothing. So that's what you need to go check. Can I file an EB2 after completing my master's in the US without a special skill? It's not about having a special skill. It's about having the evidence that rises to the level of national interest and, showing that you're well positioned. So just completing the master's doesn't necessarily, that gives you an advanced degree. But how do you satisfy the main prongs, which is national importance, well positioned, and on balance, it justifies waiving the labor certification and a job offer. So it's not just about the master's degree. Is it possible for him to get a job as a chef in Canada? I can't tell you about Canada. I don't practice immigration in Canada. Okay. All righty. I'm okay when I have K2 still in my country. How long does it take to bring them to the US after my arrival? They can come before you, but since you're here, it just depends on, do they have the visa already? So if they have the visa, then I guess that's up to you. I'm not really sure I understand what you mean by how long does it take. I mean, that's up to you, right? And I think there's a period of time that they have to come in once you're here. You're welcome, Dora. So check that your receipt notice. It would let you know exactly what was filed. And if it was the right, I currently taking EB2 cases. No, I'm not. I'm dealing with craziness, but USCI is sending us ridiculous RFEs. So right now, and I have quite a bit of NRW cases that I just have to get through, and before I start taking new cases, if I start taking new cases. If you're looking for a job as a chef in the US, then you need to have an employer sponsor you for that. Or if you think you can rise to the level of exceptional ability, then you should sponsor yourself. That's something, but you need to talk to an attorney for that. I have parole and my work permit. Can I use it to travel? I live in Texas. I can't tell you whether or not to travel, but generally, if someone has a valid work permit that also serves as an I-512, then generally you should be able to travel. I'm not telling you to travel, but that's just it. If you have a lawyer, talk to your lawyer. Okay, let's see. My paperwork was submitted since October 2019. My U.S. spouse passed away. Sorry to hear that. 2022, and prior to that, I filed after his death. I changed to widow's petition, pending over 2 years and nothing. So, what's your question? Okay, you are welcome. Okay, all right, people. I think we've got quite a bit of questions. It's yeah, so Beach Mercy, that's the answer. I think CA already answered your question. So should I file a tax amendment to resolve? Talk to a lawyer first. I can't tell you whether to do. This is just general information for, that's it. So as far as what you do with your specific case, sit down with an attorney and get the legal advice for your specific case. Can I turn anything up? I mean, you can do congressional assistance requests. Have you had an attorney? Have you had an interview? Because sometimes even on a widow's petition, they will call you for an interview. So if you've not, then you can still do a congressional assistance request, ombudsman inquiry. Let's see, you can do a demand letter. If all that fails, then you may want to consider filing a lawsuit against USCIs. Yeah. Okay, so those are options you can explore. Starting before you get to the lawsuit part, you got to go through all those options first. Are you able to save the video so I can rewatch what you said about finding? Yeah, I always save it on our page. So if you go under the reels, you would find all our live videos there. Are you taking new clients? I take new clients after I've done a FOIA request of your record. Your FOIA record is going to determine whether I'm going to take care of a client or not, if you already have a pending case. All right. Okay, everyone. You're a Catholic. I'm not Catholic. I'm not. I'm a Christian. I don't do a denomination thing. I'm a Christian. I'm a child of God, and we serve the same God. So, I can attend any church, but I don't limit myself to one. No. Thank you, Mr. Yes, and also on YouTube. Exactly. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. It's been a day of celebration. And it's been a day to just return all the glory and praise to God. He remains God. He remains faithful. I always say that I would rather serve God. And if rapture doesn't happen and we found out we've just been told a lie, that's okay. I haven't lost anything. Than for me not to believe that there's God when I can see that there are many things around me to show that there is a God somewhere and the God somewhere, and have wasted my time. So it's a win-win situation. So okay, all right, but for all those we have celebrated with today, when I tell you that when we're done with the intro for Mr. Matt, just like, okay, that's it, like. Because I cleared up my schedule, like, okay, because I don't know how long this other part of it, the waiver, like I talked about, which was for legal reasons, going to take, because I cleared up my whole, half of my day, like, and it was like, okay, 17 minutes, like, that's it. And then they call you back personally. I mean, what if that is not God's touch on that, letting you know I got this? What else? So I say that to say this. He's still the same God who has done it for him. And even though he was freaking out like crazy, but I know, I'm sure God was last smiling, like, you know what, I got this. But he's still the same God that has done that for many people. Same God that for Miss Ellen Sanctuary celebrating exactly 2 months on the 19th today of becoming a green card holder. It's still the same God that 10 years ago, found me worthy to be sworn in as a citizen, and I'm still grateful till tomorrow for that. And I truly am and trust and believe that he's still the same God that's going to show up for each and every one of us. Just keep believing. Don't listen to the naysayers. Let it go in one ear, come out the other, or don't even let it go in at all. Don't lose focus on what it is that God has promised you that he's going to do. Because if he promises, he shall. There's not he will. It may, no, he shall fulfill it. I'll see you guys next week. Have a good weekend. Bye, everybody.